Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another week, another edition of the WardiTV Monday. WardiTV Monday number 70. I'm, of course, Josai VIP. With me, I'm joined by these amazing players and, of course, by the people in the chat as well. Welcome, welcome, one and all. Bienvenidos, papi, bienvenidos. I know that this weekend has been very intense when it comes to StarCraft, and even right now, I believe Home Story Cup is ongoing, soon to wrap up, might I add, but Home Story Cup has been ongoing throughout the weekend. As a reminder, we typically do cast and do cover Home Story Cup, but not this time, just because we were unavailable. For those who are unaware, I've been unavailable. I've been looking after my pet bunnies. I've been taking care of them, giving them meds, and again, we have just not been available to cover Home Story Cup. We should be doing so though in the coming weeks. In the coming months, we'll be able to find some time to cover those matches and cover those replays, going through the group stage and into the playoffs as well. There's a lot to catch up on. Home Story Cup, Thunderfire, Rongi Cup, PvZ Cups, WardiTV Mondays. A lot to catch up on, as we have been unfortunately missing out a lot in January, but hey, we're going to be spending February catching up on all those matches, like this event here before you, like this event, again, the WardiTV Monday. First, we're going to be jumping into the quarterfinals. Again, this is a weekly open tournament, weekly open cup, open to all players, all shapes, all sizes, and we often do get a lot of European versus Korean action as a result. We're going to be jumping into the quarterfinals. It's going to be best of 3 between Lambo and herO. Let's go. Let's go, let's jump on in. Game 1 is going to be here on Winter Madness. Similarly to Home Story Cup, typically we would cover this event live. We'd cast WardiTV Mondays live, but that is no longer the case just because of daylight savings. It does begin too late here. It begins, I want to say, like at 11 p.m. my time. Far too late, but here we go. We're jumping into our first series and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Winter Madness. We have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing T1. It is herO. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the German Zerg player, the red Zerg representing Shopify Rebellion. It is Lambo. Here we go. Also, bienvenidos, all those in the chat. I see Slow Joe in the chat, so Lensford as well, Laylith, alongside late Chrononaut, Tony, Sinclair. Bienvenidos. Again, hope you had a great weekend, and I hope you enjoy the StarCraft ahead. Let's go. Let us go. Once again, it's great to see Lambo competing. Lambo very rarely competes in open cups, so it's a bit of a treat. It's a bit of a treat covering any kind of Zerg competitors in open cups in general here, whether it's someone like Lambo, whether it's a Laser. I think during KSL over the weekend, we got to cast sort of in the quarterfinals, which was a lot of fun. So again, great to see a little bit more Zerg representation in some of these events, and we'll see how Lambo can compare, especially compared to herO. herO, who is arguably the best player in the world at the moment. Again, when it comes to all the big premier tournaments, when it comes to RSL, when it comes to the OSC Season 13 Championship, when it comes to Thunderfire, herO, he has been dominant. He's been the dominant force, at least in the past 2 months, and we'll see if that trend continues here. Bearing in mind that in KSL Classic did bring him down, herO down in set finals. We'll see if we could see something similar here in the WardiTV Monday. Let's go. Let us go. So now we're going to be opening up. I know that for a while Lambo was playing around a lot with Ultra Tech and with rushing into Ultras in this matchup, but that, I want to say, only lasted like a couple of months, like October, November of last year-ish era of StarCraft. Coming into December and January, that has kind of died off. We'll keep an eye on our players, as we're investing quite heavily here into these links early on. Okay, we're all in. I was like, what's with all these links on the way? I see. Okay, so Ling Flood, a drone pool here out of Lambo. herO back at home, rushing into an early Forge. Oh, herO going for his own quirky build. Okay. Bearing in mind, herO hasn't seen this. Here he has not seen, he does not know. He does have his Stalker on the way, bearing in mind that the wall is currently open and the Lambo is coming in for the surround. One way or another, the game is about to end. Can he surround that Stalker? Can he surround the Stalker? Can he dive in? You can see here is being lured out by the Overlord. Here we go. Yeah, he does dive in. Late reaction. He does get us around. Here he tries to get away. He does distract. He does buy a couple of seconds, but remember, no warp gates. If that pylon goes down, that's game. And the pylon is surrounded. The boys are being pulled. Yeah, the pylon will fall. Stalker does race back, but it's too late. Yeah, it's too little too late. Lambo comes in with this round. One Adept does spawn in. Okay. He's got one Adept. Is that enough? No shot. herO with one adept. He's holding Pappy. Again, there's link speed. Yeah, link speed kicks in. The adept does manage to no, it does get away. Okay, does get away. Does reduce service area. Ooh, does shade back. Shield battery is finishing. Pylon is on the way. No shot. herO holds. That's crazy. The power of one adept. The MVP adept, Pappy. Ay, ay, ay. Saves the adept. Shield battery is done, and the all-in has failed. The all-in has failed. Now we have 14 links still in production, so Lambo, he's getting ready for the second wave. The wall is still open, so that second wave could still kill herO. But now there's going to be 2 adepts. Pappy, you saw what you saw what he did with 1 adept. Now he has 2. He's got 2 adepts. That's crazy. You can't beat that, Pappy. Oh no. As you can see, Lambo trying to bypass these adepts, trying to get into the middle line. The boys are pulled. There's 3 links left, down to 2, and here comes that second wave. Now, unfortunately, this time, again, there's multiple depths. This time, there's a greater wall here at the natural. There's better Sim City. We're still not making a 3rd unit, though. We're waiting for warp gates. Uh-oh. Lambo dives in, but there's a shield battery. It is a little bit out of range, true. Battery's out of range. You can see herO making a secondary wall. Yeah, he shades back. He fully walls off. And even if the gateway goes down, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter. The adepts, they do get past. Sentry does warp in. There's a force field. Oh, we need it, though. We need that force field. So we do get another wall behind this. Like, oh my god, some of them do flood in, but GG gets called. GG gets called. The all-in fails, and herO takes game number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Ay, ay, ay. herO, he survives the all-in and takes the first game. Very, very impressive. I feel like everything went Lambo's. Like, I feel like the opener and the initial builds, like, Lambo couldn't have asked for better. herO never scouted. herO, he did not scout the all-in that was coming his way. herO, he was lured out into the open with that stalker as well, so he was prone to a surround, and herO lost the pylon. He lost the pylon that was powering his gateway. Like, again, like, that was best case scenario for Lambo, but despite that, herO, he was able to react in time and pull over the stalker and buy a couple of seconds and avoid the surround. He was able to throw down the shield battery, secondary pylon, get that first adept out, and again, that first adept did so much in the end. It was seconds away from not being able to pop out. It wasn't just the adept, to be fair, it was herO's worker micro. Like, the boy pool was excellent. He was able to protect his units, protect his adept, protect his stalker for as long as possible, deal extra damage, and GG. Very haphazard defense out of herO, but a defense nonetheless. And that was crazy. GG. GG, well played. herO takes the lead, and that doesn't bode well for Lambo, I'll be honest. Like, as I mentioned before, I feel like you couldn't have asked for anything better when it comes to that all-in that Lambo went for. So that does kind of take its toll, and it doesn't feel good. Is what I'm getting at. Like, as the aggressing player, if the stars align and the all-in still fails, like, ooh, it's not a good feeling, and it doesn't bode well. And hopefully Lambo's confidence isn't shaken too much as we're getting into game 2 and spawning in the bottom left hand corner of White Rabbits. We have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing T1. It is herO. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Zerg player, the German Zerg representing Shopify. It is Lambo. Here we go. As we're getting into game 2. And after what occurred in game 1, I would imagine that Lamb is going to shift gears. I still imagine he's going to go for an all-in, but a different kind of all-in, right? I would imagine maybe 2 base all-in, 3 base all-in, getting it to a greater economy, getting to the mid-game. We have seen a lot of successful 3 base play. At the same time, herO, he was going for his own build. Do you remember? herO, he went for a Forge first. He didn't get to use it. He didn't get to get into his own planned build in game 1, but he might actually go for that here in game 2. herO showing us that he's willing to get down and dirty and be unorthodox. He was about to show us that in game 1, and that's kind of what he's known for as well. For being a little bit more exploratory, especially in this matchup. herO can be very unpredictable, and I mean, hey, there's a reason why he 3-0'd Cyril, like, not too long ago. Like, that's the reason for that, Pappy. Yeah. That was what now, 2 weeks ago? But here we go. herO just being as annoying as possible. Lambo back at home, still just droning, saturating. We'll keep an eye on the lava and the link production. Again, last game we did notice the link production. I was like, he's crazy. he just sent it at me. But now though, this time everything's looking normal. Yep, there it is, Forge first. I say Forge first, Forge after the Nexus, after the Cyber Core. So again, this is the same build that herO attempted to go for last game. So we were correct in our assumption that herO, he was going to try to go for a 2-base all-in game 1. He didn't really get there. This time, he can now actually get into his build and show us what he had planned for game 1. So earlier Forge, earlier +1. This most likely is going to lead into an early +1 timing, and maybe with a charge, or we might go with slow lots. True. This might line up with slow lots instead. We'll see what kind of gases are taken. So in my mind, +1. He is getting the Twilight Council though. Now there are two different paths we can go for. This can be +1 and blink, and we go for like a 6-gate 2-base blink all in with +1. Or this can lead into a Templar Archives into, Twilight Council into Templar Archives into slow lots with +1 with like 2 Archons. Regardless, it should be a 2-base all-in. Overlord Scatter is going to be denied. Now Lambo, seeing the initial Stalker is already a tell. Stalkers this early on are usually unorthodox. If you know anything about ZVP, you'll know that first you get the Adept, then the second Adept, then you move out to Harass, to Scout, to Delay. Getting a Stalker here is already a little bit sinister, and yep, there it is, charge. So +1 in charge, early charge timing, early charge builds. If you've been watching herO over the past 2 months, then you would know, or really past month of play, herO has been very fond of charge-based builds in this matchup. Not necessarily this build, but going to charge nonetheless. Again, that's how he was able to take down several at Thunderfire, was non-stop charge-based builds, and again, catching him off guard. Now, from the side of Lambo, what are we hoping for? We're hoping for a safety Roach Horn, right? A safety Roach Horn. It is very common in ZVP to skip the Roach Horn and go Ling Bane or Ling Hydra, but the meta has been shifting. herO has been abusing that style quite heavily, and we will be needing that early Roach Horn. Otherwise, how do you defend against the mass delts coming your way? And there we go. Okay, so that's going to be a 418 Roach Horn timing. It's a decent timing here. It's still going to be very close and very clutch. We need to take an extra gas geyser, and we need to get into those roaches as quickly as possible, bearing in mind that Lambo hasn't seen anything. He doesn't know what's going on. For all he knows, it could be Glaives, right? It could be Glaives. It could be Stargate into Fleet Beacon into like a carrier rush that's banking up.
Our forces are under attack.
So Lambo is still playing blind. But again, thankfully he's playing safe with his Roach Horn. Meanwhile, we assumed that it was going to be with 2 Archons, and we are correct in that assumption. I had assumed that this is going to be hitting with +1 and with slow lots, but no, it's going to be charge lots with +1 and a handful of Archons. A very, very strong timing. There is a 3rd base, but really, this is going to hit insanely hard. Lambo is taking up into a lair, getting a Z-Ray chamber. I don't see any roaches yet. Lambo is still droning. Go. High Templar have arrived. Let's go to this 2 Templar. Insanely fast +2, bearing in mind that Lambo has +0. Archons are now morphing in. And Lambo sees. Yeah, Lambo sees. He knows he needs as many roaches as possible. Ooh, Lambo did make a lot of Overlords actually, but you need roaches more than anything. Roach production has begun. herO is moving out. And here he does move out. Looks like the roaches will pop out in time. So we got the queens, we got the roaches. Lambo will defend. I say that more zealots are coming. He wants those queens. He does want the queens against 1. 1 queen goes down, the others are getting very low. Archons they push forward, they get another 2 queens. Not quite. Yeah, barely enough. So 2 queens goes. There we go. 3 queens go down, and herO pulls away. herO pulls away so far. A decent trade out of herO. He pulls back, and remember, he does have that +2 timing available afterwards. Meanwhile, Lambo at this point needs a 4th base just for larva and just pure roach production. Just massing up nothing but roaches. herO to spot the army. Now, Lambo, upon seeing all the herO, upon seeing all these roaches, he should take a defensive stance. And there it is. We have a wall of cannons, wall of shield batteries. Good reader here out of herO. Lambo wants herO to move into it. Remember, Lambo, his 4th base is late 4th base. He doesn't have much more saturation. Never mind, Lambo going into mutas. Ooh, bold move out of Lambo. So Lambo, he knows about the build, he knows about the opener. Specifically, what does he know? There's no Stargate and there's no blink, right? There's no blink, so anti-air is very limited. Yes, there are a lot of Archons, and that will help in a head-on fight if there are defensive mutas, but harassing mutas have potential to do a lot of damage. Just because the anti-air of herO is very immobile. The downside is that if Lambo does invest too heavily into mutas, is that his roach army is going to suffer. And he would be vulnerable to a push. So there's a really risky, very risky maneuver. Lambo, he has to respect the Zealot run by. So Lambo does race back home. herO pushes forward. A little bit of a messy move out here by herO. Yeah, throws away a couple of Zealots. Rough pathing. And herO, he's about to strike. And Lambo, he's banking resources. Remember, Lambo, he's saving money for mutas. And here comes herO. Lambo is out of position. He was chasing all those Zealots, so Roach is out of position. 4th base goes down. herO pushing further in. And Lambo, can he hold on here? Lambo gets supply blocked. And herO just denies the 4th. Yeah, he denies the 4th base. Oof. No Ravager. Okay, Ravagers are moving in, but still so many Roaches go down. That was what, 8 Roaches falling. And there are still more force fields. Still more force fields. And as we mentioned, these mutas defensively, they can't really do much, not against all those Archons. So Lambo is taking a lot of hits, he's taking a lot of damage. Remember, the soup does lie. Lambo, he's almost maxed out, but Roaches, they are heavily inflated when it comes to their supply. So the army is actually smaller than what it seems. herO has the more efficient composition. Lambo moving in, but remember, we had all those shield batteries from earlier. Oh no, he's pathing. Yeah, Lambo gets caught. Ay. Yeah, brutal movement, brutal pathing here by Lambo. Oof. He bleeds out so many Roaches. The plummets 30 supply. Mutas they dive into the main, but now there are Phoenixes. Yeah, here he goes for his counterattack. Lambo, he is in danger. As these Roaches, they should not be here. Oh, and that's already a lot of Roaches going down. He's gonna lose everything. Yeah, every Roach is gonna fall. As you mentioned, technically herO is down 70 supply, but it's Roaches. Like, they do, they don't scale well. They don't scale well. Not against this kind of army. Now, thankfully, where's the War Prism? There's no War Prism at all, actually. So, this army is lacking a buffer zone. We need Zealots. We need a warping of a massive amount of Zealots here to protect these Immortals. herO does spot the Roaches. And herO goes for the backstab. And he may have to recall. So he's going to kill this base. Lambo, he does turn around. And herO, I don't think he can take the head-on fight here. No, without his Zealots, he's gonna get out of here. There's okay, there's the recall. He pulls out. These Roaches, they do nothing. Recalls in time. And again, Lambo's been all in for the past, what, 5-6 minutes? He's all in. But he's pushing to 7 Immortals. Ay. Yeah, there are just so many Immortals. They start to step forward. Mutas, they get shut down by the Archons. And the Zealots have finally arrived. Yeah, Zealots have arrived. The Immortals, they just push in. They just bully the Roaches. GG gets called, and herO will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the semi-finals. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, Lambo, I want to say initially was in an okay position when he was able to defend his, he didn't defend his fourth base, but when he was able to recognize at an early time it was coming, he made his massive amount of roaches. But again, the longer the game went on, the worse it became for Lambo. I wasn't really in love with the idea of going into mutas. As you mentioned at the time, when he did decide to go into mutas, he was banking 1,500 minerals and I want to say almost 1,000 gas. He was banking a lot of resources to go into these mutas, and that was the moment where he kind of lost the game, where herO was able to distract the army on the left hand side with all his zealots, push forward, kill the fourth base, and ensure that Lambo could never drone, could never saturate, could never macro out of it, and Lambo was just stuck on a very mid-tier army, a very subpar army. As you mentioned, Lambo, technically he was maxed at 200 supply, herO was at 130, but herO was still dominating those fights just because of the quality of the army. He had 7 Immortals, Pappy. It was crazy. Crazy. But GG, well played. With that, herO, he does advance on to the semifinals, and with that, we're going to be following him into his next matchup. Let's go. Into his next matchup, it's going to be a PvP here between herO and Showtime.